Many things can stop us from succeeding. Fear of failure, being afraid of what others will think, and our inability to see the end goal, the end vision. We're going to address all three of these in our podcast. Stay tuned. This is Craig Ansell of the Career Growth Made Easy podcast, and you're listening to episode number 23, Building Success Through Failure. Before we get started, I just want to tell you about a cool new survey that we have out. You can enter for your chance to win a $20 Amazon gift card. Go to the show notes and click the link for survey, or go to our website, craigansell.com/23, where you can find the show notes and a link to the survey as well. Good luck. Fear of failure can lead to a fear of making decisions. It goes something like this. If we don't decide, we don't act. And if we don't act, we can't fail. So, we sort of stay in our comfort zone. But what about trivial decisions? Like, I'm going to snooze my alarm. I'm not sure what to wear. I don't know where I'm going to eat today. Hey, what about what route will I take to work, or what route will I travel today? We make these decisions hundreds of times every single day. It seems without even giving it any thought, any effort. Our decision-making power is limited, though in fact it has a name, and it's called decision fatigue. Think of it as starting out with a fully charged battery every morning. Each decision, no matter how small, how insignificant, zaps a little juice, a little energy from our decision-making battery. Many of us have experience with battery-powered tools, the most common a flashlight. When the batteries are fresh, you see a clear, bright light. As the batteries weaken with use over time, the flashlight still illuminates, but it's just not as bright. You might notice it doesn't provide as much distance visibility either. You could even recognize a change in the flashlight's color. The light may change from a bright white to maybe a more dull tone, such as a yellow-white color. For many of us, that's the point where we replace the batteries, though the flashlight is still working, but it's just not performing at its best. It's not at its optimum capability. The point here, there's still energy left in the flashlight batteries, but they're not performing as well as when they were new. So back to the battery reference and our decision-making power. Hopefully you can see that you still have power left to make decisions, but it may not be as sharp at later times in the day. Therefore, it's important to recognize when you're in the strongest position to make those important decisions. I'll put a link in the show notes to a New York Times Magazine article if you want to learn a little bit more about that. So, we've unlocked one of the keys to building success. The ability to recognize when you're mentally strongest, when your battery is fully charged, and you're at your best to make those decisions. We're now going to talk about fear of failure, which has two parts. There's our internal fear of failure, how we feel, or perceive how we're going to feel when we fail. For this point, did you notice I said when we fail? In this example, we've already envisioned failure, or at least the inability to see the solution or success. We could believe taking that next step or action will not result in forward motion. Without knowing it, we've self-sabotaged. We've put up our own internal barrier to success. So where does the internal fear come from? For each of us, it may be different. Have you ever known someone to make a poor choice or a bad call? I think we all have. The difference between those that succeed and those that fail is how they look at failure. There's an old saying, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, meaning you'll advance along the way, but you'll also have to deal with some setbacks too. That reminds me of a few famous Albert Einstein quotes. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Wow, that's powerful. Here's a deep one. In fact, I think I'm going to say it twice and pause and let it sink in for you. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. For the second part, fear of failure, I mentioned being afraid of what others will think. I realize we're all different, and for me, I'd say I'm a little more fearful of what people think when I don't take action, when I don't make a decision, and I don't make any progress. I think I'm concerned with the appearance of procrastination or appearing that my efforts look stalled. It may be easier said than done, but what if you and I channeled our fear of failure into small steps for success? Using professional project management as an example, there are issues and risks. If you're not familiar with these terms, the simple explanation for an issue is something that occurred, usually negative, and has to be handled or corrected. A risk, on the other hand, is something that may occur and should have mitigation steps put in place. The goal with risks is to minimize, or if possible, eliminate the chance of that risk occurring. Now, if that risk does occur, it becomes an issue. So why did I bring up risks and issues? To show you that even in professional situations, issues do occur. Even in professional situations, risks are identified. Sometimes they're mitigated or resolved, sometimes not. In fact, if unexpected risks come up leading to unexpected or unplanned issues, then new plans have to be put in place, and pretty quickly too. This process is not about failure, though, but about the ability to pivot and respond to change and challenges. If you are on the fence as to considering change, I hope this makes you feel a little more at ease. It might help you chip away at your internal fear of failure, or if you have a fear of what others may think if you fail. For the third and final piece, it's our ability to see the end goal, the end vision. In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, author Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. I'll put a link to that info in the show notes. It's helpful to have an end game, an end vision in mind, meaning you should envision what success looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like, and sounds like. Okay, maybe you can't taste it, but I think you get the point. I want to build you up and build it up in your mind. I believe this is critical in helping us propel forward, especially if and when we encounter failure. Now, it's likely for many of us, we're not all going to have a smooth ride. There will be some waves in the water or some bumps in the road to navigate. However, it doesn't mean we should expect to fail all the time, because that can put us in a negative mindset. Yes, we should be prepared for challenges and issues to arise, and also we should plan for and envision success. We can jump that hurdle that was thrown in front of us and move on to the next step. There's a famous phrase out there, slow but steady wins the race. My interpretation is to plot your course and follow through. From NBA basketball, there's a sports legend, Michael Jordan, who once said, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. And I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. Wow. My takeaway from his powerful quote, look at the bigger picture, not the series of misses that exceeded 9,000, not the nearly 300 game losses, not the 26 opportunities to make the game-winning shot and miss. Rather, persistence and having the end in mind. As he finished his quote, he said, "And that is why I succeed." How did inventions like the incandescent light bulb come into existence? By their creators having focused, positive mindsets. Listen as I read from inventor Thomas Edison, who made more than 6,000 tests before achieving success. "The electric light has caused me the greatest amount of study and has required the most elaborate experiments," he wrote. "I was never myself discouraged or inclined to be hopeless of success." The next time you feel the grip of fear coming on because you're worried about failure, please remember some of these quotes. Finally, if the task or decision seems overwhelming, try to break it down into chunk-sized pieces. There's an old saying out there, you can eat the elephant one bite at a time. If you need a way to boost your physical energy, go back to our episode number 14 titled I Just Can't. Besides tips and tricks to help you power through your day, there's also some mindset shifting ideas. If you'd like to move from I just can't to I can, check out that episode. There's links to everything that I mentioned in the show notes. You can always listen, find the show notes, and grab some freebies like our resume tune-up tips at our website, craigancel.com. That's CRAIGANCEL.com. Don't forget about our survey. It's for the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. We want to know what you think, how you like the shows, and what we can do to improve things. If you enter our survey, it's really short and quick. You have a chance to win a $20 Amazon gift card. Go to the show notes, click the link for survey at the bottom, or you can go to our website and do it there as well. Have an awesome day. Thank you for tuning in to the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. I've been your host, Craig Ansell. We look forward to serving you next week. And remember, we turn problems into potential and issues into opportunities. God bless. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel. New episodes every Monday. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on social media at Craig Ansell on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To book a coaching appointment, download our free guides, or join our email list, check out the links in the description below.